What's up, everybody, and welcome to this brand new episode of the Hot Mic here early on in the week here on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the Sneider himself, sporting a very bright shirt there. Jeff Sneider, how are you?
Johnny boy, I'm good, baby.
Look at him talking into the mic already. Respect. You're picking it up step by step, piece by piece. And hello to the 125 of you who are joining us right off the bat here. I'm sure that number will increase. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on a Tuesday afternoon. We got so much to get into. We're going to talk some of the superhero casting that's been going on here over the last few days, including the Milly Alcock casting. And, of course, we're going to get into your Streamlabs Super Chat, so start sending them in as we go along. And we're going to do something fun because Tuesdays are our more segment-oriented shows. Yes, if there's big news, we'll talk about it, but we also like to focus on segments. And today's segment is revisiting the 1999 Oscars, not the Oscars for the films from 1999 for the 2000 Oscars, but the 1999 films there. And we're going to pick out our nominees for each of the top eight categories. And we've expanded Best Picture to 10 slots. So we're going to give you our thoughts on that a little bit later on in the show. So all of that is going on. As I mentioned, Streamlabs Super Chat. You see the Streamlabs address above Jeff's head. We already have 2 Streamlabs in. Keep sending them in. Keep sending in your Super Chats as we go along. It's going to be a spicy show for sure. But Jeff, we'd be remiss not to start with the big news, which broke yesterday, that Milly Alcock has officially become the new Woman of Steel here to be Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. James Gunn broke the news. Deadline broke the news. A number of outlets broke the news. She beat out Emilia Jones and Meg Donnelly. So she's going to be essentially doing Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. That's what the script is based on. We kind of felt like she would be the choice in the end because of the kind of strength and steel she has shown in her performances in House of the Dragon. So now that it's official, what are your thoughts on this casting here, and what do you anticipate going forward will be what happens with Milly Alcock in this role?
I mean, I got to be honest, John. I just don't care.
What?
Yeah, I'm serious. I don't care about the Supergirl movie. I don't know that I'll see it. I'm not interested in who winds up directing it. Okay. It seems like it's just going to follow a very safe playbook. Okay. Even though I know that was the messaging with the announcement was like, this is not the safe Supergirl. This is edgy Supergirl. It's going to be her and Crypto flying around having edgy adventures. Yeah. I don't care. I'm a 40-year-old man.
What does that have to do with anything? There's a bunch of childish shit you're into, and as a 40-year-old man,
I don't care.
Give me a break. Sports are pretty childish. It's just a game, a round ball into a hole. I mean, for God's sakes, what are you talking about? People love the Supergirl story. They love this approach.
That's great. I'm glad they do. I'm not one of them. I don't care about Supergirl. I just do not give a shit. I cannot get excited for this.
Well, I am excited. I love her as an actress. I think she's a great choice for this role. I've ordered Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Should be here tomorrow for me to read because I want to see what we're going to get out of that particular film, or what we can expect, and see what she's going to be doing with the role as I read this thing and figure it out. But, I mean, Matthew Vaughn tweeted about this. I sent you this, and I want to bring it up here on the show. Matthew Vaughn tweeted about this, and he was asked about the Supergirl situation, Milly Alcock, and he said, I'm a huge fan of Milly Alcock. Huge fan. Met with her for this other project we're working on. She turned me down, which was sad. She's a fabulous actress. Then again, I do find it very weird that they haven't gotten a director. That surprised me because you shouldn't cast a movie. The director should be casting the movie. I don't understand who cast it if there isn't a director. I was asked about doing The Flash way back, but I said I'd only do it if I could recast. If I'm directing my own superhero film, I want my own new superhero. But Milly Alcock, I probably would have put forward for it if I was directing, so I haven't considered it. Never say never. I'm a big fan of James Gunn and Peter Safran, so yeah, I would consider it. So 2 questions to ask out of this, Jeff. We've talked about this already on the show the last couple of weeks, this idea that James Gunn is not bringing a director in. Other people have mentioned maybe other things have been cast without a director, but not having a director involved in this. And then this is a male director putting his name in the hat here.
How dare he?
Well, I'm asking you, do you think this must be exclusively directed by a woman? And B, are you still miffed that no director seems to have been involved in the casting of Milly Alcock as Supergirl?
I mean, that's the tricky thing with universes, right? I mean, think you're always like one step ahead of where you really are, and so the whole timetable is weird to me. Like, if Warner Brothers wants to put this movie into production this fall, Supergirl, it needs a director like yesterday. I mean, that's at the bottom of Variety's story. It ended by saying, they're going to have a Supergirl director in the next few weeks. Do I think it has to be a woman? No.
Okay.
I think it will be a woman. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Definitely going to be a woman. I think the casting is fine. I think it makes sense. I've never seen any of her work. I haven't seen her in anything.
Wow.
I haven't watched a minute of House of the Dragon. But again, Warner Brothers controls the scheduling for that show. They can share her if need be. They can figure out the scheduling. And it's just like good promotion. It's, there's Supergirl. Oh, isn't that the girl from House of the Dragon? Oh, why aren't we watching that, honey? Or vice versa. Let's watch House of the Dragon. Oh, this girl's really good on it. I bet you she's good in Supergirl as well. So it just, everything makes sense there.
Yeah. You tweeted about it. You say you didn't care about it, but you did tweet about it and said corporate synergy. So
I have to tweet about it. I mean, I'm sharing the news. I mean, but yes, that's what we've said for weeks when we were talking about everybody. Do I think it's going to be the girl who has already been playing Supergirl doing the voiceover? I mean, no, I didn't think that.
Yeah.
But like last week when we talked about how what's her name didn't read, Amelia Jones.
Yeah, Amelia Jones. Yeah, which
that story takes on a life of its own thanks to the aggregators, who seize upon every word. It's like, guys, this is the podcast. It's not me writing it out like a report. But she didn't read like very clearly. I mean, you read between the lines of the stories.
Yeah, look, I'm curious to see where we go with this because, as I said, if this is supposed to be a very important part of the Superman mythology, casting it yourself without bringing in a director, I'm just so curious about it. Maybe we'll find out that there was a director involved all along, but I do agree.
There's no director involved all along. This is not like some big conspiracy. They're going to be finding a director in the next few weeks. Do I think that a director should have been involved? Yeah, but again, if she's going to be in Superman, which THR is kind of adamant that she is, and the other trades are still, doing the company line that Warner Brothers wants them to say, and so we don't know if Supergirl is going to be in this movie. She's going to be in some other property. Right. I mean, why rush this casting unless you have to get her
100%?
Come on.
No one was clamoring for the Supergirl casting. The reason you're doing it is because you're going to put her in the movie. Yeah, logically, that makes all the sense in the world. And I do think it should be a female director. I don't care if people in the chat are like, oh, it should be the best person. Let me tell you something. It has never, ever completely been that way, ever from the dawn of time. Okay. It's always been, a lot of times it's been someone's friend who there was limits to what women could direct and not direct. It took forever for men to finally open the door for women to be able to direct. So it's a different situation. I think it should absolutely be a woman, just like I felt Spike Lee should do Malcolm X over Norman Jewison. I had no problem with that. I think this time around should absolutely. There's plenty of young, great female film directors that are out there that could have a chance to cut their teeth in a franchise and bring this to life. So yes, it should be a woman. And
I think it can be a man.
Man should be fucking okay with it. Yeah,
it can be a man when they hire a woman to do the Brave and the Bold, or the Authority.
Yeah. I got no problem with that. I got no problem. Balance it out. I got no problem with that. So yeah, please. It's not like men and women have been equally getting opportunities since the dawn of time to direct films. That's such an asinine point of view because this is not true at all, for God's sake.
Sure, but I don't like this where we're going in this industry, which is men direct men films and women direct women films. That is not good.
But we're not going in that direction. It's
but
just
we are. I mean,
projects. We're being more aware of it, right? Natalie Portman cried about needing more female directors and embarrassed anybody. And what did she do for the next few films? Be directed by male directors. So, you know what I'm saying? Just because people say stuff doesn't mean we're necessarily going in that direction. And for occasional projects, I think there's a bit of cultural or gender sensitivity that I think is essential. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so you reported on this, Jeff. Do you want to take this Thunderbolts casting? Geraldine Viswanathan taking over from Ayo Edebiri? Please,
I
what's
mean,
the
you're
deal
the
here?
one who called it last week, John. I got to
Yeah.
give you the credit. You were just like, oh, I think, she's just too big for this movie. And I know it was scheduling conflicts, and there are scheduling conflicts. I mean, with the strikes and everything. I know you make that face, and we all know scheduling conflicts is also code for bullshit. But it does run into
Exhaustion.
season 3 of The Bear.
Yeah.
So there are scheduling conflicts. That is legit. But I think, part of it is that you're probably right. She probably could have worked a little bit harder to figure out those conflicts if it was really a role that she was like, I can't, part with this. Instead, it was, probably a secondary supporting role, the sort of comic supporting relief as Julia Louis-Dreyfus's assistant. And I totally understand why she was like, you know what? I just want an Emmy. Like, I'm a little bit bigger than this. I can, hold out.
This is how it works in Hollywood, y'all. It's about status and cachet. Soon as she won the Emmy, everything changes, right? Everything changes. The point of view changes. What you can quote changes. The things you want to be challenged by changes. Now that people know your name, and she seems like a pretty confident actress, it's a different book. You take the role on initially because, like you said, Jeff, this was cast like a year or two ago before The Bear really blew up, won the awards and all this. So it was good at the time because it's the Marvel machine. You're starting out still as an actress. You're building your name up. Now that you've won an award, people are already clamoring for you to lead your own show, lead your own movie. And so looking at playing her assistant doesn't seem like the right status move for Ayo Edebiri. And the fact that they went with someone like Geraldine Viswanathan, who is also an up-and-coming, damn good actress, but not quite as big as Ayo Edebiri, lets me know the role is just it's a good role. It's not a big role,
Yeah, and I think that's fair, but I think Geraldine is a great replacement. I think she's going to do a great job. I've, been a fan of hers for a long, long time. If you guys haven't seen The Package on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's the comedy where someone goes out on a camping trip and accidentally cuts off their own penis. And their friend, it's hilarious. But I just this just feels like again a B Marvel movie. Like, what is this supposed to turn around? Like, this is not going to help the narrative. I don't get it.
Again, I don't think they should be doing this movie. I don't see the logic in doing this movie. I know for those of you who love those characters, you're like, great. But you posted a tweet. Talk about your tweet here, man. Yeah, a little bit of a tweet over the weekend. I gave you a little bit of shit when I quote tweeted it. So talk to me about, you posted this tweet where you showed all the actors involved, or all the main actors involved, and they were all white. So, you kind of came into my area of things and were maybe somewhat complaining.
I mean, listen, and we all know how tired an area that is, right? I just want the right person to get the role, but I do think that this was an opportunity, particularly by setting the expectation of a person of color in that role by having Stephen Yen. I know that Marvel never confirmed it, but it was pretty clearly, obviously, Stephen Yen for a long time. It just felt like a missed opportunity. And when you're up, with 5 other white people as the leads, and I know Ayo was a part of it at the time, and Geraldine is obviously not white, and neither is Hannah John Kamen, who plays Ghost. But it's like these are the stars. These are the stars of the movie, and they're all white.
Yeah.
So it just I don't know why they couldn't have gotten, whether it's another Asian actor or a Latino actor. But again, maybe Lewis Pullman just blew them away. I don't know. I don't see the test.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a star who's just like irresistible. Like, oh, if we can get this guy like Jacob Elordi or someone like that, we got to do it. Like I could have understood that. This just felt like, well, if you're going to get someone on Lewis Pullman's level, and no disrespect, he's a good actor. I've liked him in everything I've seen him in. But if you're going to get someone on his level, I don't know, maybe give somebody else a shot.
Yeah. There's plenty of actors of color you could have given a shot to play that role if you want to keep on. Plenty of Asian actors you could have given a shot to play that role. Because it isn't like Lewis Pullman is a household name. There are plenty of other Asian actors they could have looked at possibly if they wanted to go that route. Let me show you the Warrior cast list and tell me that there isn't somebody in there that you could have looked at for this role. So it's a curious decision for sure overall how they're going. And please miss me with the best actor for the role nonsense. Give me a fucking break. It's all subjective. You never
She's
know.
in the movie. I just did
yeah.
6 photos. Everyone's asking, why didn't you include Hannah John Kamen? I mean, I was trying to prove a point there.
We don't know what Hannah John Kamen's role is going to be in the movie either, and we don't know if she's going to be a bigger part of the film or if these are the main people they're going to focus on when we go through the movie. Because
those are the stars. I mean,
yeah,
like fucking Hannah John Kamen and Olga Kurylenko are not going to get the same amount of screen time as Florence Pugh and Sebastian Stan.
Exactly. And so, at that point, it starts to become a little troubling as well, because okay, we've got at least one black person in here. Then it becomes like, well, are we we're sliding dangerously close to tokenism in that way? And I think that's not 100%.
Yeah, I don't need the United Colors of Benetton for every movie.
Right.
I understand that, but again,
but what's your thoughts on the because this is something that was brought up with Christian. We're going to get into the Fantastic Four news in just a second, but I mean, one of the things you brought up here a few weeks ago, and Christian kind of took some umbrage about it, was this idea that Pedro Pascal was possibly cast as Reed because Feige looked at the cast that he was looking at for the other characters as like, we need a person of color, at least in one of these roles, because I'm going to cast whites across the board here. So how do you compare these two situations? I guess they're both Marvel related. What's the difference in the nuance between these two?
I said that that Kevin wanted to inject some color into the cast of Fantastic Four. Yeah. Particularly after it seems like they settled on, those other 3 roles. I mean, I do, it doesn't, we don't need to do things where it's just like, here's Black Panther and this is the black movie and this is Shang-Chi, this is the Asian movie. I mean, it doesn't all need to be a rainbow every time, but again, I just think that there was an opportunity with Sentry to create a new superhero, of color. And we wound up with just another kind of generic white guy for lack of a better term. And with Io and everything, I do think that she's better suited for DC. I think she has the kind of sense of humor that would actually go over really well within James Gunn's DC universe.
Oh, I could see her in the DC universe, maybe as one of the Green Lantern women. I could see that.
Yeah, whatever it is, I just don't think you don't want to rush these things and then wind up in a bad comic book movie, and where now you have to spend the next 5 to 7 years doing crappy sequels.
You call me crazy, but I think she'd be a great out of the box thought for Harley Quinn. I mean, Ayo Edebiri's Harley Quinn would be super interesting to see down the road. So yeah,
no, Harley Quinn's got to be sexy.
All right. That's, that's
why. I know what. Do you not think that fucking executives sit up there in Burbank and talk about actors like this?
Yeah, but doesn't mean we have to do it here, and it doesn't mean that it's right that they do it there.
What do you mean? Of course it's right. That is why sex sells. Sex sells a fucking ticket, John. What are you shitting me?
No,
the only reason Margot Robbie is in Barbie is because she played a fucking sex symbol in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, but that's subjective. To you, she's not. It doesn't mean she's not overall sexy. She could be sexy to many people, just not to you.
If you find me an executive who says Ayo Edebiri is sexy, I will find you an executive who has no job tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. Those are your comments, brother. Those are your comments. All right, fine. Let's see here. Where are we going next? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's move on to Fantastic Four. This is coming from Daniel Rickman. I know you've been reporting a lot of stuff with Fantastic Four, Jeff, for sure. There were rumors that the cast was going to be announced probably pretty soon, but now it seems like, according to Daniel Rickman and RDCU Leaks, who also got the Lewis Pullman one thing right, that filming has not started on Fantastic Four, as you mentioned, but it's because they're going to do another slate of reruns.
I have to interrupt here, John. It's like you can't win on the internet. If I had said Ayo Edebiri, oh, she's sexy, then it's, oh, Jeff's talking about an actress and not about her talent. He's talking about whether she's sexy. Then you say she's not sexy. Oh, look at this fucking asshole. It's so ridiculous, the internet. I'm sorry. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's how you present it. This is what I tell people like you who scream to the mountaintops. It's how you present it. Right? I think she's phenomenally talented. Oh, and also she's great. She's very sexy. There you go. It's not that hard. I don't know why people make it hard. It's like things with pronouns. You can fucking quote me the stats of all your favorite players, but you can't say they. Fuck off.
I mean, if I'm casting a sexy role, which Harley Quinn obviously is, you want to find a sexy actress. Just like if you're casting James Bond, you're not saying, oh, I think it should be John Candy.
I don't find Lady Gaga sexy at all. But I'm still going to see the movie and enjoy her in the role. I don't find, but I don't need that to be an element of Harley Quinn. I want her to be
check your balls, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Lady Gaga's sexy.
No,
Lady Gaga is sexy.
That's your opinion. Yes, and you're welcome to it. You know, there's just different. We all different strokes for different folks, bro. You know how it is. Yes, don't believe me. I don't give a fuck. It's the truth, and plenty of people will tell you that have never had a thing for Lady Gaga. Plenty of people will tell you that. So, Fantastic Four. What's the deal going on? What are these rewrites all about? Do you think it's true, or is this Daniel maybe off on this one? Because you had said they're going to push it.
Guys, let me ask you, how do you think scripts work? Do you think like we get it and then the script's done and it's 8 months in advance of production, but the script is done and now we can go fill out the cast and start doing production design and all that?
Brother, there's no fucking way it ever works. It all works in numerous different crazy ways. So I don't know
what I'm getting at is the script is being written not until like the day it starts shooting. It's being written into production. It is constantly being rewritten.
Okay.
In the middle of the shoot.
So you think this is a nothing burger of a story that they're doing rewrites on the script?
Yeah, it's another draft. It's another pass. You know, Neustadter and Weber, I think, you know, two of the best writers that there are. You know, I don't know if they're coming in to do a dialogue pass or a romance polish, but you know, writers have different strengths and that kind of stuff. And no, it doesn't surprise me that they're bringing in, you know, two veteran script doctors, quite frankly, to do a pass before, you know, yeah. And again, I'm sure other writers will come in even after these two.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to see.
Yeah, no, it's not a big deal. No.
Okay. All right. Because I mean, you had said that they were pushing the shooting because of the schedule with Pedro and all the things he's got going on. And I'm wondering if maybe they took this opportunity, since they extended it out or pushed it, that they took another look at the script and maybe wanted to make some adjustments.
They're looking at it all the time, like I said.
Okay. All right. All right.
They may have a Latino writer come in and do like a sort of Latino pass. And, you know, maybe Mr. Fantastic wasn't written, you know, to be Latino necessarily. And now they want something that makes him a little bit more culturally specific now that they have the cast. You know, I don't know. Could be interesting. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't an element of Last of Us until we saw his brother, but certainly could be maybe an element of that here going into Fantastic Four. Yeah. Could be fun to see for sure. Let's see here with one more thing that came through. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Nia Long cast as Katherine Jackson opposite Coleman Domingo in the Michael biopic. I know we didn't put this on the rundown initially, but I just saw this. What are your thoughts on this? Do you like Nia Long being a part of this? No, again, no opinion. Like, who cares?
You don't care about this Michael movie at all. Michael Jackson, one of the greatest entertainers.
I care who's playing Michael's mother and Nia Long. Like, she's a fine actress. I'm sure she'll do a good job.
Okay. All right.
What I will say about this Michael movie.
Here we go. Okay, go ahead.
$100 million.
You think it'll be made for $100 million? Or is that what you're hearing?
That's what I'm hearing.
Jesus Christ. $100 million?
That's what I'm like. That's what I got. I got the email today or yesterday, and it was like, yo, this movie is more like a Marvel movie than it is Bohemian Rhapsody or Respect or the Whitney Houston movie.
Yeah.
It is budgeted with a huge budget that is not like those musical biopics I just said.
Well, maybe that's where they're saving money too, right? Because I mean, Jermaine Jackson's kid isn't going to come in for a lot of money, so you're saving money on that. You get Coleman, you get Nia, who are two strong actors, probably aren't going to demand top dollar, so that you can put that money into the production of maybe some of these music videos, some of these concert stuff. So 100 million seems
the time period too. It's everything period always costs more. You got to deal with costumes, and cars, and all that shit.
Right, so. 1970s into the 1980s. Looking like that's what.
Yeah, this is a big production, and I think that Lionsgate has high hopes for this. I mean, this is going to be like their awards movie. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh yeah, a movie man pointed out Elvis was expensive too. Right, the Baz Luhrmann one. Yeah, fair point.
That's what I'm saying. This is closer to that in scope than Respect or Whitney Houston.
Yeah. Jeff, you're getting some love here. Aaliyah Aloha says, does Jeff have his laptop on all those books? LOL. Yes, he does.
I do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 books. I used to do 2. So
Good job, Jeff. I'm proud of you. All right. Anything more you want to hit before we take this break and maybe answer a couple of these Streamlabs super chats? Anything you got to talk about? Anything breaking on your end?
I would love to let some cats out of some bags, but I should not. I at least it can wait until Thursday. I mean, it's like I've been looking into a huge fucking rumor, and I really wish that no one said anything today, that no one got back to me, because everyone had been dodging calls for the last 36 hours.
Oh, wow.
I kind of wish that no one had said anything, so I could have just rocked and rolled and been like, well, no one responded. Someone did respond, and they denied it.
Okay.
They denied it to a point where it was like, this is too strong a denial. Like, I know that something happened, so you can say it didn't work out, but to say, oh, they never even talked about this, I was like, this isn't true. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not dropping that entirely. I haven't decided what's going to lead the newsletter. I know I'm going to have to make a quick decision after we wrap this podcast if I want to get to Argyle on time. So I don't know what's going to lead it.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just go scoopless tonight. We'll see.
One last thing. SNL 1975 is apparently cast. It's Aykroyd and Chevy Chase. This is according to a number of sources here. Dylan O'Brien will play Dan Aykroyd, and Corey Michael Smith will play Chevy Chase, with Matt Wood as John Belushi and Lamorne Morris, which I think is a great choice, as Garrett Morris. So this is according to THR. You had said to me off camera that you thought this might be a bunch of unknowns taking these roles. Dylan O'Brien has led films, is a known quantity.
Dylan O'Brien's not an unknown, but
right. Corey
like
Michael Smith,
Matt Wood turned out to be an unknown. The Belushi role turned out to be an unknown. Corey Michael Smith, I thought he was really good in May, December. He's been in a few things. He played the Riddler in Gotham. He's not an unknown, but he's
what do you think of these choices, though? Do you like these choices?
I like them. Yeah, okay. No, I actually think Corey Michael Smith could really do a great Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Matt Wood looked a lot like Belushi. Obviously, I'm just not familiar with his work. Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd was the toughest for me to see, but I think that he adds a little bit of like star power to it, which I think is good. And Lamorne Morris really impressed me in this last season of Fargo. I'm surprised there's no relation to him between him and Garrett Morris, but yeah.
I love Lamorne. So funny since the New Girl. So I'm glad to see him be a part of this. I agree with you on Dylan. Does Dan Aykroyd need to be sexy like Harley Quinn needs to be sexy? Because Dylan O'Brien's a sexy dude. I've never found Dan Aykroyd sexy. I hope that's okay.
No, the internet Chase is the sexy one. Listen, I could go through this is the thing. I love people get outraged. Every single actor I could go through and tell you whether they're beautiful, sexy, or both.
To you.
Those are two different things.
Yes. Agreed. Yes. Just like film is not a movie is not a film. Yes. Agreed with you, Jeff. Agreed. All right. Let's take a quick break. And on the other side, we'll hit some of these Streamlabs super chats. And then we'll get into our big discussion on the 1999 movies with the Oscars. So pull out your lists now if you've made your lists. And we're going to talk about it here on the other side of this break. We'll be right back right after this. All right, Jeff, let's answer some of these real quick. Cody Hunt says, how about the Chiefs? 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. Yeah. It's annoying, but good job.
I like sports that have dynasties and stuff like that, and everyone coming at the king. And I mean, everyone had a shot. Buffalo had a shot. Baltimore had their shot. They blew their chances.
You blew it. You had a shot, but you blew it.
You blew it.
A lot of people saying he might surpass Tom Brady. Can you handle that sacrilege? They're starting to have these conversations, Jeff.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
All right. Just letting you know, these conversations are starting to happen on sports airwaves. So get ready for that.
Listen, he's great. He is great.
Hugh G. Rection. I get it, child. Watched All of Us Strangers. It is criminal that Andrew wasn't nominated for awards. So much was said with so little. Jamie Bell was great. Films like this help us heal, help us grow as humans. Loved it. And who else should you listen to but Huge Erection about what helps us grow as human beings, Jeff?
Exactly. Again, I thought Andrew Scott was good in this movie, but I don't think it's criminal that he wasn't nominated. It is, like you said, a very internal performance. He says a lot by saying very little. Yeah. And listen, the Oscars like going big. They don't like internal. So I'm not surprised he wasn't nominated. It's not criminal.
It's a great point. Great point. All right, let's hit a couple more of these, and we'll roll on to the Oscars. 11 says, any news on Shadow's casting in Sonic 3? Have you heard anything about this?
I heard that they actually might get Daniel Day-Lewis out of retirement. I don't know what is Shadow. What? There's Sonic and there's Knuckles. I don't know any other characters in the Sonic universe.
Okay, good to know. Okay. Let's see here. Blaze says, what did you think of the first episodes of Masters of the Air? I was disappointed. I thought the chemistry was a bit forced. The VFX was a bit uneven. I like that they brought back voiceover, but it took a while to understand who narrated, unlike in Bob. Yeah. Your thoughts? Masters of the Air?
On Masters of the Air, I only watched the first episode, which I think kind of says it all.
Yeah. All right. There you go. I've yet to start it. I will be starting it tomorrow. So
I will say, and I'm under embargo apparently until Thursday morning, I did binge half of Mr. and Mrs. Smith last night.
Ooh, really?
Can't say how it was. I'm under embargo. But
all right. I will leave that alone, I guess, for now. Love says, have you heard anything about the status of the Lord of the Rings franchise at WB, Jeff? Are you hearing anything?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I know they have that anime movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a movie I won't see.
That's later on.
Yeah, please. I don't know. Seems like a franchise that like will be resurrected at some point.
Yeah.
But it seems like they have other priorities over there.
Fair enough. Sloth said, can Sneider reveal the details he's heard about the Derek Sean Francis next project and any updates on other indie film projects? Have you heard anything?
I mean, yeah, I did the Derek Sean France story. Johnny, I'm gonna get you. I just need the time to figure out how to figure out a gift subscription. But yeah. So last night I did a story about Derek Sean France's next movie, which is called Roof Man.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a tip that he was doing a movie about Jeffrey Manchester. And this is a guy who, like, basically would drill down through the roof into McDonald's, and then it was very weird. Like, stay in the bathroom overnight and then wait for the employees to come in and then rob them and like put them in the freezer. But he was like very nice about it. He also lived inside of a Toys R Us and an abandoned Circuit City.
Wow.
It sounded like an interesting kind of crime movie, like an eccentric one. He obviously, so what I heard was that he went to Gosling, and when obviously Gosling is his boy, Place Beyond the Pines, Valentine. And Gosling wasn't busy, but even if Gosling was too busy to do it, but even if he wasn't, heard he didn't love maybe the script. So anyways, I think that they're looking at Channing Tatum or Chris Pine now. It'd be weird for Chris Pine to go from Pool Man to Roof Man.
Yeah, true.
But I think that this is cool. I mean, I love Derek Sean France's work. I loved his Ruffalo. Did you watch the Ruffalo show on HBO?
Yeah, I liked it. I really liked it. Yeah,
it was. I thought that was brilliant. So
it was something to get through, but I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I like these kinds of oddball slices of Americana. For sure. So I'm looking forward to it.
For sure. All right, we'll table the rest of Streamlabs till later. So let's get into this. Jeff, do you want to present this segment? Please take it away.
Okay, well,
yes,
we are going to revisit the Oscars for the 1999 movies. Yes, these are the 2000 Oscars that honor the 1999 movies, but this is 25 years later.
Yes.
I mean, this whole year should just be a big celebration. Fucking movies suck now. We should just be celebrating the movies from 1999. That sounds a lot more fun to me.
Movies do not suck now. I don't know what you're talking about, but yes, I'm happy.
Compared to 1999, they do.
Well, a lot of years would suffer in comparison to 1999 for sure. One of the most accepted greatest years in movies, no matter who you talk to. 1999. A lot of choices here. So the way Jeff did it, Jeff suggested to me we should select 8 of the top categories, and then we extend Best Picture to include 10 possible.
Right, because there's just so many great movies from 1999. To choose 5 would be almost impossible.
Right.
So we're going to do best, do we want to start with Best Picture and go down to Screenplay or work our way up to Best Picture? Let's work our way up.
Yes, work our way up. That sounds
okay. So let's start with Screenplay. What we're going to do is each of us, we're going to give our 5 nominees.
Okay.
And we'll switch off who goes first.
Okay.
And then after we both present the nominees, we'll say, and the winner is, and we'll each give our respective winners. And maybe, maybe in the moment, we'll decide to come up with a hot mic sort of list, like a collated list if it's close enough, but we'll see.
Sounds
so
good.
I'll kick things off, and let's do original screenplay first.
Original. Okay. Go ahead.
Original screenplay.
Yes.
Now, I had some tough cuts here. I don't want to belabor it. I don't want to have to drag it out, but there were some tough cuts. Movies like Office, like it was the comedies for me. Office Space, American Pie, South Park, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, all kind of brilliant comedies.
Okay.
And the nominees are
yes,
American Beauty, Being John Malkovich,
yes,
Magnolia, The Matrix, and The Sixth Sense.
Okay.
John?
My nominees are American Beauty, Being John Malkovich, The Matrix, The Sixth Sense, and I kept Topsy Turvy, which is low-key one of my favorite fucking films from Mike Leigh from the 90s. I love Topsy Turvy because I'm an actor and that's an actor's movie.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we each reveal our winners, let's have a little argument here. Let's go Magnolia versus Topsy Turvy. I sleep beneath a Magnolia poster. That's so fair. As much as you love Topsy Turvy, I think I love Magnolia more. Topsy Turvy did not enter the discussion here for me. Was Magnolia in the discussion here for you?
Very much. It was the final cut. It was back and forth because I do love Magnolia, but the frogs thing kills it every goddamn time to me. It is the rat running across the fucking railing at the end of The Departed. It's just too far. But there's some incredible writing in Magnolia. I can't deny that. It's just that I have nothing negative to say about the Topsy Turvy script, so I had to include it. By the way, it was originally nominated, the Topsy Turvy script, so I'm not going off my own idea.
No. Of course not. Listen, there are a ton. What I found looking at 1999 is there are a ton of movies that were like critically acclaimed that are not my cup of tea.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I agree. There's some of those I took off myself that I was like, I've never watched this movie and never will because I don't find it interesting.
With Magnolia being your last cut, I do think it would be on the Hot Mike's unofficial nominee list. But why don't you?
Now you want to extend the number allowed in the category?
No, I'm saying we would just boot Topsy Turvy because I don't agree with you at all there. And you're pretty close to me on Magnolia.
That's fair.
So why don't you give me the envelope, please, John?
Oh wait. Do I have something here? I might. No, I don't. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. What'd you think?
This is yours. Who do you give the Oscar to?
Original, okay, I thought you were doing
original screenplay.
For me, it is it's Being John Malkovich. I love Charlie Kaufman as a writer. I've always loved Charlie Kaufman as a writer, and this is the Charlie Kaufman sweet spot right here because I think Eternal Sunshine is like a year or two later. Kaufman was an incredible writer, and this was his heyday during this time. And I thought Being John Malkovich is one of those films that's grown over the years in my estimation for the script.
And
yes, no love for the Phantom Menace. Yes.
Oh God, jeez. This is gonna be a long episode if you guys want Phantom Menace love at the redone Oscars here. Don't You Call Me Lady. On the envelope goes to Magnolia for me. I'm going with Magnolia as my
even with the frogs. All right.
I mean that's pretty original. That's pretty original.
No, God did it in the Bible, but okay, sure.
I just love the structure. Okay, so okay, you did Malkovich, I did Magnolia. Tough to argue with.
I agree.
Best adapted screenplay, John. Why don't you give me your nominees first?
Okay, I have Eyes Wide Shut, which is based on the Arthur Schnitzel novella, Election from Alexander Payne and Jim Taylor, Fight Club from Jim Earls and Chuck Palahniuk. The Insider from Eric Roth and Michael Mann, and The Talented Mr. Ripley from Anthony Minghella, which I was surprised to see a dearth of nominations for that movie. It's a fucking good movie.
Okay, so we match on 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
I also have Fight Club, The Insider, and The Talented Mr. Ripley. So the other 2 that you had were what again?
Eyes Wide Shut and Election.
Now, I can't really argue. You're going to laugh at the ones that I went with, but I've never been an election guy.
Oh,
I
that's your worst fucking nightmare is a young girl coming up and making you look like a fool. But go ahead. Yes.
yes, 15-year-old Jeff, was very afraid of election.
No, I'm saying you now would be the Matthew Broderick characters.
And Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, it's a good movie, but it's not one of my favorites.
We're focused on writing, not the direction. And
I know.
Yeah,
okay. I'm very aware. So
here
my other nominees were
okay.
One of the greatest sequels of all time, Toy Story 2.
Dude, it was tough. It was this close. So I appreciate you selecting that one.
Okay. And the other one, I had to represent my girls. Karen McCullough and Kiwi Smith. I went with 10 Things I Hate About You based on The Taming of the Shrew. I think that's a great movie with a great screenplay.
Yeah, okay.
I get it's not Eyes Wide Shut. It's not on the same level, but like that's the kind of movie I wish would sneak into a category like this.
That's fair. That's fair. And you know what? It's a nice one to bring out and highlight because it's not easy to adapt Shakespeare and to be able to do it in that frame of a teenage coming of age type of thing, I think is deserves kudos. So I respect that.
Okay, so I'll give my winner first. I'm gonna say, I mean, it's a tough one between Fight Club and The Insider, but I have to go with The Insider. I think The Insider is an absolute masterpiece, and that gets the Oscar for me. John, where does the Oscar go for you?
Listen, I love talking about toxic masculinity, so the Fight Club is the winner for me. Fight Club, I love this movie, 2 pieces. Jeff introduced me to The Insider. I don't love it as much as he does, but I certainly respect it. Fight Club is the one I go back to and watch so many times because of the writing, because of the dialogue, the back and forth. So I have to give it the nod here.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do Best Supporting Actress.
Actress. Okay.
Yes, actress. Now, again, some tough cuts for me. I'll do the tough cuts after. The nominees are, for me, Helena Bonham Carter, Fight Club. Toni Collette, The Sixth Sense.
Yep.
Angelina Jolie, Girl Interrupted. Chloe Sevigny, Boys Don't Cry. And Melora Walters for Magnolia.
Nice choice. I interviewed Melora a year and a half ago. Fantastic woman, great actress, great artist. Love her in that movie. You want to take care of her the whole time in Magnolia, and her stuff with John C. Reilly is just fucking great, man.
I remember when I was a kid, like I thought maybe she was a little annoying in the movie, but as I've gotten older, I've come to realize like the shit she was dealing with in that film and how she was dealing with it, and it's a pretty great performance.
Yeah, and
John.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I've always found her low-key sexy. I hope that's okay, Jeff. All right.
Actress not in that movie. She's all like strong. I mean, she is cute, like kind of in a mousy way, but like she's like a mess in that movie. She is like, you don't.
I think Damaged is sexy. I really do.
I mean, listen, hey, me too. But I don't know. If I was Jim Curry, I don't know if I would have asked her out if I was a cop.
Oh, my God.
She was.
If I look like John C. Reilly, I'd be lucky to get.
Maybe, you're right. Okay, fair enough. All right, John, give us your nominees for Best Supporting Actress.
All right. Angelina Jolie for Girl Interrupted, absolutely. Toni Collette for The Sixth Sense. Chloe Sevigny definitely for Boys Don't Cry. Helena Bonham Carter for Fight Club, absolutely. But I throw Julianne Moore in for Magnolia, who I thought had the more fantastic performance. That scene when she is breaking down in the pharmacy, and then later in front of in front of Jason Robards. To me, this is the Julianne Moore performance, not the end of the affair. This is the performance from 1999 that I think she deserved recognition for.
It was tough for me. Because I did think about Julianne Moore, and I obviously love that scene in The Pharmacist and everything. But I felt like, I don't know, Melora Walters was a more complete character, a more complete portrait, like so that's why I went with her. But there were some tough cuts in this category. Let me just name some of them.
Sure.
Catherine Keener from Being John Malkovich was the toughest cut for me. Courtney Love in Man on the Moon, Samantha Morton in Sweet and Lowdown, and the one I flirted with putting on, and this girl is very sexy, Mina Suvari in American Beauty.
Oh yeah,
like she's not just the bombshell, in that movie. Like, I think it's actually a good performance. Dora Birch is good too.
I would throw Julia Roberts for Notting Hill. I thought this is one of the
lead performance.
Oh yeah. Sorry. No.
We're doing support.
Carrie Ann Moss for The Matrix is who I would have possibly considered for that. I was going back and forth on her in that film as well. And for American Pie, Jennifer Coolidge, dude, that is still an iconic performance. So I was very, very close to putting her on the list as well when I looked at it, but in the end had to cut it for these others.
Yeah, I just didn't think of like Stifler's mom as like an Oscar-worthy performance, but I did think of both of those crossed my mind. Yeah. Okay, wait. So who and the winner is John. Who is your winner?
My winner is Toni Collette in The Sixth Sense. For me, what she does in that film and the scene at the end on the car with Haley, it's just unstoppable, man. It's just the greatest moment for a supporting actress that whole entire year, from my opinion. So I had to give it to her.
Yeah, I mean, God, you might be right. I mean, that is certainly to me like it's like the most. I lose it every time there at the end. It is such an affecting performance, but I think in the end, I go with Helena Bonham Carter. I think that Marla Singer is like a character who's like an iconic part of like pop culture in a way that Toni Collette's Sixth Sense character never really could be.
Yeah.
So even though Toni Collette, God, that's a tough one to lose because she's so great in it. But I think I would give it to Marla.
I like that choice, though. I love her in Fight Club. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, where are we going to next?
Supporting actor. Who's who's reading their nominees first? You or me? I forget.
Well, we had you reading first,
right.
Me reading second. Okay, you just read, so then it's me, right?
You.
All right. Actor in a supporting role: Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Even though you would argue it's the same person. Tom Cruise in Magnolia. Fuck yes. Michael Clark Duncan in The Green Mile. The late great Michael Clark Duncan. Matthew Broderick in Election, and Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense. So those are my choices here for supporting actor in the Oscars.
Okay, once again, we matched up on 3. I have Brad Pitt in Fight Club, Tom Cruise in Magnolia, and Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense. You had Michael Clark Duncan and Matthew Broderick, both good picks.
Yeah,
I like the Matthew Broderick love because he was really good in Election, but I did not go in that direction.
Enough love for how good that film is. It isn't just Reese; it's Matthew too. Yeah.
I went in different directions. The toughest cut for me was Jude Law in Talented Mr. Ripley. He's great as Dickie Greenleaf. And I also, this is a performance that gets no love, not even mentioned, ever. Go back and watch what Philip Seymour Hoffman is doing as a drag queen in the movie Flawless.
Oh, yeah, with De Niro.
He's excellent in that movie.
Great choice, man.
But he's not in the cut. Those are the tough cuts. Yeah. The other 2 nominees for me, I did go with John C. Reilly in Magnolia, who I think is kind of like the heart and soul of that movie. And then I went with Mr. Smith. Right?
Who?
The Matrix.
Oh,
right.
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Oh, interesting.
Best supporting actor. So you just like you went with kind of or mentioned Carrie Ann Moss. Yeah, I think Hugo Weaving kind of gives like the standout performance in that movie where you're just like, who the fuck is this guy?
That's an excellent point because that scene he has with Lawrence Fishburne when he's talking about how sick humans make him and all of that, that's an incredible performance as a highlight of what he does overall throughout the movie. So great choice, brother. I hadn't even thought of Hugo Weaving. But I can't say no to that choice. That's a great choice.
And for the record, I do love Jon Voight in Varsity Blues, and I love both Milton and Lumbergh in Office Space. Those are like 2 great,
those
all-timer comedic supporting performances. Okay, so John, where does the Oscar go to? Who wins Best Supporting Actor?
What are you fucking talking about? Tom Cruise in Magnolia should have won that Oscar already. Should have won that goddamn Oscar. He was great in Magnolia. This is Tom Cruise showing you this motherfucker has got it, still got it. 10 years after Born on the 4th of July, he brings you that performance there, and it's incredible. So I have to give him the love on my end.
God, another really, really tough one. It's between Cruise and Pitt. I just feel... I think I have to go with Brad Pitt in Fight Club. I think that's just like a fucking like lights out performance.
You're right, dude.
That like has become people's entire personality.
Yes, but it asks nothing of him. He's just being cool Brad Pitt for 2 hours.
Great, that's true.
Like ripping his heart open and crying in front of Jason Robards. It's incredible.
I know. I mean, that's the tough thing. It's like, how do you compare these two? Oh, God.
Yeah.
I feel sick even saying Brad Pitt over Tom Cruise. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry.
But I'll also reserve space for people who think Michael Clark Duncan should win, because I rewatched Green Mile about a week ago. Fuck, that's a great performance, man. A lot of soul and emotion and pain. He never got a chance to do any of that again as an actor, and he was great in that. So yeah. Okay. Where are we off to next?
Best Actress. Now, this is the category I had the hardest time filling out. What about you, John?
That was pretty much a breeze, but all right, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I struggled here. The nominees, I don't even have any tough cuts. The nominees are Annette Bening for American Beauty.
Agreed.
Nicole Kidman for Eyes Wide Shut. Franca Potente for Run, Lola, Run. Hilary Swank for Boys Don't Cry, and Reese Witherspoon for Election. I did represent Election with her one nomination.
We are absolutely in agreement on every single nominee. I have Frank as well. I loved Run Lola Run. I can't believe she wasn't nominated for this award, and I loved her in that film. And I have Nicole Kidman in Eyes Wide Shut, because the reason to watch Eyes Wide Shut is not Tom Cruise. It is absolutely Nicole Kidman. And that scene she has when she's talking about cheating on him in that sexy outfit, that sexy panties and shirts she's wearing, is fantastic. So to me, those are great choices.
Wow, so we had the same 5. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that, particularly because I struggled so much with that category. So who gets the Oscar, John?
At the end, I think it's undeniable you have to give it to Hilary Swank. There was the rightful winner then. It's the rightful winner now. She is one of the greatest actresses that I just sadly see her doing ABC shows instead of doing stuff like Meryl Streep would do, because she is so talented and you forget about it. But when you go back and watch her and stuff like this in $1 Million Baby, she's so fucking good. So yeah, I have to give it to her.
Okay. We are in agreement because I think absolutely you go Hilary Swank. The Academy got that one right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Best Actor, John. Why don't you give me your nominees?
Best Actor. Oh, where am I at here? Okay, Best Actor in a Leading Role. I have Kevin Spacey in American Beauty. I have Russell Crowe in The Insider. Jim Carrey for Man on the Moon. Matt Damon for Talented Mr. Ripley. And Denzel Washington for The Hurricane. Those are my choices, man.
Okay. I'm with you on Kevin Spacey, on Russell Crowe, and on Matt Damon. You had Denzel in Hurricane, and what was the other one?
Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon.
Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon was the toughest cut for me. My other nominees were Al Pacino in The Insider. I did double nods for The Insider.
You consider that a two-hander? He's not a supporting. He's a lead. Okay, all right.
It's funny. I listened to the Insider podcast, the Rewatchables podcast, and they were making the case that he's the lead of the movie.
Wow.
I thought that was an insane argument.
Okay,
I think it's an insane. No, he's not the lead. I think that's crazy, but I think he's the co-lead.
Sure. Okay.
So I did put him here in actor, and then I went with Ed Norton in Fight Club. I mean, that's again an incredible performance. Yeah, it's a good performance. But for me, man, Denzel in that solitary confinement scene, give me a break, dude. That's an actor's that's the barometer. When you see something like that as an actor, you're like, okay, you can't reach that. Rarity, man. So, and I love Damon and Talented. I thought he was great. And Carrey, you got to look at this is the jump. This is where Carrey makes the jump. So I wanted to honor that. But Edward Norton's a great choice, bro. You know, I love Fight Club, so you're not going to hear me argue about the other one that I felt that I'll always have a soft spot for. It's the 6 inches in front of your face. That shitty ass. I'll always love Pacino in any given Sunday.
You can't double nominate him, for God's sake.
I know. No, you can't. No. Okay, so who gets the Oscar here, John?
Hold on, I have some cuts myself. I have Tom Hanks in The Green Mile. I thought that's a criminally underappreciated performance. I thought he did a great job with that. I do appreciate Richard Farnsworth in The Straight Story. I'm not a David Lynch person, but that's one of those rare David Lynch movies that I liked. I thought he was great in it. And I'm going to throw another one out here for some of y'all to consider. I thought Pierce Brosnan in The Thomas Crown Affair, that's a deceptively damn good performance. He is cool. He is smart. He is interesting. He has an arc. He changes by the end of the movie, and people don't give enough love to what he does in that film. So I'm just throwing that out there as some of my cuts here.
That is a good movie star turn. When I was thinking of Best Actress nominees and really racking my brain, I did think about Rene Russo.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Oscar goes to who for you, John?
For Best Actor, it goes to Russell Crowe for The Insider. I can't deny
Likewise.
that. Having watched the film with you, brother, this is a phenomenal performance from Russell. So I can't deny it, man.
100% agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe some of the things I heard watching this Rewatchables, listening to this Rewatchables podcast last night. Like, they're like, oh, fucking Russell Crowe's best movie was Gladiator. Are you insane?
That's nonsense.
Are you insane?
Nonsense.
This is his best performance by far. He absolutely deserved this Oscar. I can't believe they didn't give it to him. Spacey was great in American Beauty, but fucking Russell Crowe, oh my God.
What he does in The Insider is an actor performance. What he does in Gladiator is a mainstream actor performance, right? There's a difference. One is for the cheap seats in the back, and one is for the ones who really understand acting. And The Insider is for the people who really understand acting, what he's doing. Gladiator is for the masses. There's a difference. And so I think you have to honor him in The Insider more than Gladiator. Right?
Yeah, The Insider is just on another level.
Yeah.
Okay, this is tough. Do you want to talk about heavyweights, guys?
Yeah. Where we go?
The Best Director category.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Mine's down here. So
I will give mine first, I guess.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, This is the 5. I do not expect our list to match.
Okay.
Paul Thomas Anderson, Magnolia. David Fincher, Fight Club. Michael Mann, The Insider. Sam Mendes, American Beauty, and Andy and Lily Wachowski. Well, I should just say the Wachowski siblings. I won't dead name anybody. Wachowski siblings now. The Matrix.
Wow. So we're only one off from each other. I have Sam Mendes for American Beauty, Spike Jonze for Being John Malkovich, Paul Thomas Anderson for Magnolia, Michael Mann for The Insider, and Fincher for The Fight Club. Get out of here, Shamalama Ding Dong. I absolutely move you out of that category and move Fincher in there, because I will go back and watch Fight Club 1 million more times than I'll ever go back and watch Sixth Sense.
So Being John Malkovich was the toughest cut for me. But so you don't think the Wachowskis deserve a nod? I
don't. Compared to these other films, I don't. But it's close. Like, it's 6 or 7 if we were to, like I've said, include extra people in these nominations.
Back in the day, I definitely had Being John Malkovich. I think I put number 2 on my 1999 list when I was 15 years old. I don't know that Being John Malkovich quite holds up the way that these other movies have, like Magnolia and Insider and Fight Club. I don't put Being John Malkovich quite on that tier. And the reason I put Spike Jonze and M. Night Shyamalan off this director list is because I feel like those are script-driven movies. And it's like it's Charlie Kaufman's premise. It's the whole idea of it. Not as great as the execution is. Same with Sixth Sense. Whereas these other 5 movies, I just felt like they were like directorial, like powerhouses. What did you think?
I understand what you're saying, but I disagree with you on John Malkovich. I think that the movie doesn't work without Spike Jonze's aesthetic as a director. There's no way. There are plenty of directors who would fuck up that script. Spike Jonze has a particular quirky aesthetic, and that's what helped that film be what it is in the end. I mean, that 1.5 or 13.5 floor, just the idea that is from the mind of Spike Jonze. That is that kind of approach. The way he shoots them coming out of the highway, shooting out of the chute, all of that, the tragic puppet stuff that you see, the way he shoots, how depressing John Cusack is with John Malkovich in there in that situation. It's all Spike Jonze. So I don't think the movie works without his directorial aesthetic.
Okay, who wins? I mean, I'm at a loss in this category. I don't know who the hell you give this Oscar to, John.
Yeah, I have to default to Sam Mendes, because look, American Beauty may not hold up, but people don't understand how absolutely I don't know, kind of change culture, society changing that movie was. Kind of like Ordinary People, showing you that people were getting divorces in this suburbia that you thought was living great. Here's another film that comes 20 years later and re-exposes the bullshit going on in suburbia, showing a guy who is repressed sexually as a homosexual, showing a frustrated woman in a loveless marriage, showing a guy who's trying to find his way, but of course uncomfortably pining for the cheerleader at the high school. Just the way Mendes directs this film, I think, is extraordinary, so that by the end you are left with incredible power. Of course, the flying paper bag or plastic bag, maybe not the best choice, but overall, I thought his direction was incredible here. So, yeah, that's my.
I think Mendes would be at the bottom of my list here.
Wow. Okay.
I think I mean, I can't even believe, like, being an Oscar voter back then, they actually had to make this choice. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson, what he does with Magnolia, right, with the narrator and then the stuff at the beginning before you even get into everything, and the way he weaves everything together, it's masterful. Fincher and the style of Fight Club. I love what Michael. I mean, fuck. I think I'm gonna go with the Wachowskis. I think that they just literally changed the language of film. And just like, I mean, that movie was like from 10 years in the future.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, brother.
Yep. I think I would give the Wachowskis Best Director for 1999.
Okay.
It's just so different than the other nominees. And because I want to do a split, and I think I know what I'm going to give to Best Picture. And I couldn't give the Best Director to that as well. I couldn't get both. Okay, so Best Picture.
Okay.
What were the tough cuts for you, John, before you give me your
tough
10
cuts.
nominees?
Oh, tough cuts. I don't. Okay, Man on the Moon was a tough cut for sure. I thought that would make the final list in the end. The Iron Giant was a tough cut. Toy Story 2 was a tough cut. I wanted to throw in Buena Vista Social Club as a documentary because that's a documentary that still endures and is fantastic. But in the end, I couldn't do it. And Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, I really wanted to throw in there and could not make myself do it. So, and October Sky, which I think is a quietly great film.
Okay, I'll give you some others too. Before you know, so a movie that we have not even brought up yet today, hasn't come up, and I'm surprised it hasn't, is Three Kings.
Yeah, Clooney was a choice for me for Best Actor as well. One of the cuts. For that.
So Three Kings was a tough cut. Man on the Moon, Any Given Sunday, Eyes Wide Shut, Election, Cider House Rules, Green Mile, Hurricane, End of the Affair, Titus, Snow Falling on Cedars, Angela's. These are all like Oscar bait stuff. Yeah. Snow Falling on Cedars, Angela's Ashes, Ride with the Devil, Girl Interrupted, Topsy Turvy, Cradle Will Rock, Sweet and Lowdown, A Map of the World, Tumbleweeds, Bringing Out the Dead, The Straight Story. I mean, that's a lot. And these are just the movies that were not even in consideration for me.
Yeah.
That's that you could find Best Picture nominees in that list, but 10 nominees, John. We're gonna switch off. Give me, or no, you know what? Give me 5. Give me 5 first, and then I'll give you.
This is not in order. This is just my.
Give me the first 5.
The Matrix, American Beauty, The Insider, Sixth Sense, and Topsy Turvy.
American Beauty, Fight Club, The Insider, The Sixth Sense, and Being John Malkovich. So we now give me the other 5.
Okay. No, give me your other 5.
The other 5 for me: Boys Don't Cry,
mm-hmm.
Magnolia, The Matrix, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and Toy Story 2. So again, my nominees are American Beauty, Being John Malkovich, Boys Don't Cry, Fight Club, The Insider, Magnolia, The Matrix, The Sixth Sense, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and Toy Story 2.
Okay. So then my final 5, if I've got this right: Being John Malkovich, Election, Fight Club, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and Magnolia.
Okay, give them to me again now, because I know you had Topsy Turvy, which I don't have.
The Matrix, American Beauty, The Insider, The Sixth Sense, Topsy Turvy, Being John Malkovich, Election, Fight Club, Talented Mr. Ripley, and Magnolia. Those are my
Topsy Turvy and Election.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas I have Toy Story 2
Yeah.
And Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, Boys Don't Cry, which I do not have in my list.
Okay. All right. I would take off Toy Story 2 and put your Topsy Turvy on.
Okay, thank you.
For because you love it so. And Toy Story 2, I get it. And then it's Boys Don't Cry versus Election. Oof. Yeah, I'm just not. I mean, Election.
Yeah.
It was always.
Look, I get it. And I have to default here because Hillary is my top choice for Best Actress. So clearly, Boys Don't Cry should get the nod here. So I'll acquiesce.
Okay. Well, I guess this is it. This is the moment of truth, John. And the Oscar goes to
The Matrix. The Matrix was the best film of the year in 1999. Even if I don't have the Wachowskis nominated for Best Director, I thought this film, as Jeff already stated, this is a groundbreaking, ahead of its time movie that changed the dialogue of how people approached sci-fi films, action films, and films in general when they were presenting them. And I thought the technology here was out of control. People will always remember where they were when they saw Matrix the first time, and it still endures. And not even two shitty sequels can stain it enough to take away its glow. So I have to give it to The Matrix, but God damn it, Fight Club was so close. So close.
Listen, all of these movies are my favorite. Right? It was so hard to just pick one, but at the end of the day, there's only one movie that's just, it still makes me cry. I feel like 20 years later, 25 years later, and that is The Insider.
Wow.
I mean, a tale of, just scorching journalism of a guy who was willing to sacrifice everything for the greater good. It functions on so many different levels. I just think it's utterly fantastic, a masterpiece. The Insider, Best Picture, 19.
I think these are perfect reflections of both of us, right? Because you are much more of a journalist than I am, and so it affects you in that way. Whereas for me,
you're the one. You're the one, John.
Yeah, in my mind, I do see myself as someone who can change the world, and I look at this idea of exploring what's deeper beyond what's happening in our world. I'm always trying to drill down to find what's actually happening. So in a different way, we both drill down to try to find the truth, but in different arenas and in different ways, but similar in that approach. So, which is why I think our show works, to be honest with you.
Yeah, amen. Well, that's it. That's the 1999 Oscars. We redid it, and it's better. I mean, now it's not an American Beauty kind of sweep.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
Hillary still has her Oscar.
Yes, as deservedly so.
And Michael Caine isn't winning a bullshit Oscar for Cider House Rules. Come on.
Yeah, I saw that once. Never need to see that in film again.
Yeah,
no offense, Lassie Hallstrom. All right, let's take one last break, Jeff, and then we'll get into our final Streamlabs Superchats, and then we'll get on out of here because I know you got to do a newsletter and we got screenings to get to. So we're right back right after this. All right, we hope you followed along. We hope you followed along with us on that, and let us know how your lists matched up down in the comments section below here. And let's get on out of here by answering these last ones here. Greg says, I wanted Meg for the role, but I think Milly's also a great choice. Like Jeff said, corporate synergy. She's going to be amazing. No doubt about that. That's right, Grevel. I'm sure that she will be. Nerdy Mastermind says, Jeff, have you heard any updates on the new I Know What You Did Last Summer film Sony announced last February? Any chances WB finally resurrects Freddy and Jason anytime soon?
What? Have I heard any updates on I Know What You Did Last Summer? No. I mean, I know Leah McKendrick is out there, right? She has that movie Scrambled that's opening soon. I think she's writing that movie. But no, I haven't heard anything. I just don't know if that's the answer for Sony. I mean, to revisit that movie with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's not Scream.
Shall I show you Scream? What just happened? Yeah.
It's not, it isn't Scream, and it never was. And Jennifer Love Hewitt's Julia James was never Sidney Prescott, you know? So I don't know about that. Any chances WB finally resurrects Freddie and Jason anytime soon? Yes, I do think that those icons will be resurrected, not together though, obviously.
Please bring back Monica Keena, who I loved in that Freddy vs.
Monica Keena. She was the
lead in that. She's sexy. Levin Schleiger says, hi, Jeff and John. Anything new about Star Wars? Jeff, anything that you can break? Anything you can say?
About Star Wars?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. J-Dub says, bold prediction, no Star Wars movie will surpass The Last Jedi's box office until we start a new trilogy that moves away from the Skywalkers. Your thoughts? Sure. Maybe. But you move away from, see, the thing is, people operate in the bubble, in the Star Wars bubble, and they go, you know what? I've had enough of the Skywalkers. Most casual Star Wars fans don't care about that shit. They don't. And so for something to cross the box office, you're going to have to really come out the gate with something new and original and incredible. And I don't know if anything will happen that can match what you got in the original trilogy. So that's why Star Wars always comes back to that time period of the Skywalkers, except for that Mangold film that's coming out, if that even comes out. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Jeff?
I don't think that any Star Wars anything will be hitting The Last Jedi's box office, because when The Last Jedi hit theaters, right, there was no Star Wars on television, was there?
True. Yeah.
Star Wars is on television now, and people can go to television to get their Star Wars fix, and that ruined everything.
Okay. And also it was coming off a really good The Force Awakens, whereas the Rise of Skywalker was coming off a divisive Last Jedi, which affected the box office.
And again, the box office in general is, basically saw 20% to 30% of people who are never going to come back.
True.
With the pandemic, they're just never coming back to theaters.
Slaw says, what are some of the biggest scoops Snyder's most proud of breaking throughout his long career? Do you want to just name a couple? You only gave, it wasn't much of a donation, so you only want to give a couple?
Yeah, I wasn't much of a donation.
Sorry.
We appreciate all the donations here.
Yes, but like, if you're going to ask a big question, you've got to correlate that with a sizable donation. I think that's only fair.
I mean, I held the news that Tom McCarthy was directing Spotlight for like a year, and then I did it. I shared it with the Boston Globe. So like, just the fact that like I shared that scoop with the actual Spotlight team itself.
Yeah.
And it just proved to me that I could keep a secret if I thought that there was a good reason. Now, listen, most of the times when I'm asked to hold stories, it's to let a deal close or, some bullshit reason or whatever. This was a legit reason where it was like, listen, we can't have it out there that Tom McCarthy is directing this movie because it'll make it tougher for him to research.
Right.
Because then the Catholic Church is going to sort of, basically try to shut him down. And I obviously didn't, want to be part of that. And so, yeah, that was definitely one that I was proud of. Stuff like, all the biopic stuff. So if you're breaking someone who's like a real person, because these real people mean so much to so many people.
Yeah. I
think that's like a big kind of thing. So, whether it's Steve Jobs or like Grace of Monaco. I mean, I've broken a lot of these things, that stuff. And obviously the comic book character stuff is always cool, but yeah.
Okay. Anthony V says, I've been excited by all the recent Dune Part 2 promotions. I'm attending the fan event screening on February 25th. What's your box office predictions? Do you think Dune could hit $1 billion global, or is it too sci-fi for a mass audience to enjoy? Jeff?
Dune 2?
Yes.
I don't know what to make of Dune 2.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to be way better than the first movie, number one.
Okay.
The first movie debuted also simultaneously on Max. So its box office was really dinged. Timmy is a much bigger star now.
Okay.
Yes. There's a whole bunch of like factors. However, I've heard that the pre-sales have not been great, or they haven't been as strong as people have thought. I mean, maybe that's just one guy telling me that. But,
well, the news
again, we're a month out too.
Well, the news came out earlier this week or yesterday that once they released the tickets over the weekend, the systems crashed. Now, Fandango crashed, and a couple other places crashed trying to sell tickets because of the demand. Do you buy that, or is that a little bit of a made-up story?
I mean, and the ticket system crashed. Well, then I guess it didn't sell as many tickets, right? I guess it didn't sell as many tickets if it crashed.
Maybe they didn't expect to
yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't fucking know shit about box office, guys, and I don't care. So,
yeah, fair point. I think it has a shot to hit 1 billion if it's got great reviews. And they're re-releasing Dune in theaters for people to get acquainted with that first part of it. If it has great reviews, I think it has a shot, but most likely not. Samo says,
Yeah,
"Hey guys."
it's also, it depends on the competition, John. Too.
Yeah,
I
right,
don't have the March calendar in front of me.
Yeah, fair point. Samo says, "Hey guys, the Super Bowl is less than 2 weeks away. Who you all got winning? And second of all, what movie trailers do you all expect will be showing at the Super Bowl?" Real quick, who wins? And one movie trailer you think will be showing?
Who wins? The Chiefs win.
Okay.
And oh god, and I think we get a big ass trailer for the Fall Guy.
I think we get the Wicked trailer, even though it's like months away. I think we get at least a teaser for Wicked, and I think the 49ers win in a shock upset, like Nick Foles beating the Patriots. This is Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, beating the mighty Chiefs. So
you think you advertise Wicked on the Super Bowl?
Yes. Do you know how many Taylor Swift fans are going to be watching the Super Bowl, bruh?
That you know what? I didn't take the Taylor Swift into consideration. That's a good thinking.
Yeah. I mean, they estimated that she has brought $300 million of value to the NFL.
It's just so far out, and Fall Guy is the same studio. I think, it's also Universal. That's more immediate. It's a big investment. It's big movie stars. There's romance.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe a Deadpool 3. Do you think we'll get a teaser for Deadpool 3?
Seems like it would line up timing wise. Yeah,
I agree. All right, well, there you go. Let's wrap it up there because we both got to get going to our screenings, and Jeff's got a newsletter to get out. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. We appreciate it madly. We kept 500 of you hanging out with us for a majority of the show, so thank you so much. Please remember to hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Got to get to 50,000 subscribers. Help us do that. Subscribe to the channel. And you don't have to donate, but subscribing is really important. Leave comments down below in the chat as well. Jeff, another fun show. Tell people where they can find you and read all the stuff you got going on.
theinsnyder.com, guys. Subscribe. I had a great week last week. I've got some fun stuff brewing. Stick around.
Yeah. Jeff said it's a little too quiet out there, so maybe something's coming from Jeff Sneider. So subscribe to that email or that newsletter for sure. As for me, at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. You guys are great. Take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of The Hot Mic. Peace.